Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Jackson, and welcome to Campus Tech Connection podcast.
Hi, I'm Laura Pasquini, and I'm also a member of Campus Tech Connection. Join us at the hashtag CTCX on the Twitter.
Yes, and we just decided this morning we have not had a podcast. Have we had one in July?
I've not been present. No, we haven't. The last one was your Google I/O, and that was the end of June. So no, we've not.
Wow, and July's over. That's shocking. So yes, for not being around for a month, not a ton of stuff has happened in technology. There hasn't been like a ton of huge announcements. Like we had a major spill of announcements, and we've had a few things happen, but not the normal tech news overload. So
this is like your July tech update and our thoughts and shares and what's been happening this summer, because summer's been a busy one for all of us.
Yeah.
You've been busy, right, Jeff?
Yes, I started a doctoral program, and so and my office is in charge of orientation. So the first week of July, we had an orientation on the 2nd or 1st, whatever that Monday was, and then we had that week, and then I was gone for 2 weeks for class, and I came back last week with medical school orientation. So Friday, I don't know if I've ever been as exhausted as I was on Friday. I had that glazed over look and hadn't slept well, and tons of things going on, just trying to re-enter back into the workforce after being gone for 2 weeks. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and July just gets busy because I find like most of our student affairs and higher ed folks, they're either doing a project, on a holiday, a bit of both, and it's just kind of a catch-up time. So July, for me, was some travel, some fun, some work, some projects. Like, I'm excited tomorrow. I'm going to get to podcast with Eric Stoller and Ed Cabellin. We're doing the campus social media .com is our webcast. We're going to do a day-long fun time, and it's like little projects like that creep up on you. Like,
yeah. So TECUSPA is it's like the NASPA of Texas. It's the Texas Association of College, University, Student Personnel Administrators. I think I got that in the right order. So we have our own, of course, like TECUSPA here. Oh wait, I turned my hang off. Hold on. Okay, wait. I can't talk until this is fixed.
Do I fill in the void? Okay, go.
Am I back?
You're back.
Is it there?
Nope.
Load.
So you've been involved with TECUSPA.
I was doing some technology, I am doing some technology podcasts for them around what we talked about, a lot of professional development, so how to use Twitter for professional development, and how to use Google Plus for professional development. And so I did one podcast the very end of June before I had all this July craziness on Twitter, and then I had one on Google Plus on Friday, and people who watched it said it was really good, but my head was just like a million places at the same time while trying to do that. So it was quite crazy. So.
And you used me as an example. Is that what you said? I forgot that you were doing that.
I would need to show them how to send direct messages. So I decided to send one to Laura. So you were a part of my Google Plus webinar.
I hope I said something appropriate.
Doing that on the fly. You did. It was awesome. So
awesome.
Unfortunately, you happened to be on Google Plus at the time.
That was good timing.
And I'm very upset my lower third's not working.
You can work on that, and I'll share out. Here's the association that Jeff is talking about. We've had some different updates and highlights over the course of July. So obviously, happy Olympics, everyone. The Olympics is trending and happening. The opening ceremonies, the hashtag, although they put like twitter.com/hashtag Olympics. They're slowly getting it, because this is the first Olympics to have a lot more influence of social media and streaming as well. So there's companies out there. I don't know if you heard of a tech company. There's one in Portland. There's a staff of 75 people that are helping to stream and make things live and web-friendly. But it's been a bigger push than even the Winter Olympics only 4 years ago.
You know, along with the Olympics, it's weird how Twitter has really made its mark in entertainment. If you watch The Voice, if you watch any like reality show where things are happening, I guess maybe any show, you'll see that little they have the little hashtag at the bottom. CNN's been doing this for a long time, and they'll have the Twitter as part of their feedback from people. So it's really quite interesting how Twitter has become like that platform. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Twitter doesn't actually probably make much from that. Like, that's not part of their business model.
Right.
Which I hear, and it's probably for another show because I don't have enough information unless you have it. Twitter's trying to have like a TV show built into Twitter, like in the feed kind of thing. And I heard that briefly. We'll try to find it and bring it up in a later episode.
Yeah, well, and that's okay. So we're going to save that topic. This is also a brainstorm show for tech ideas for the fall.
Yes.
As you can tell. So let's talk some rundown of tech. Biggest news that you had over the summer. I think there are two big stories, and we can talk about in what order you think they are. Is that Digg.com was sold and probably dead. So maybe RIP Digg. And Yahoo has, I think, a very legit CEO, and Marissa Mayer. Was it Marissa Mayer? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Mayer.
And Marissa Mayer, who was one of the, I think, employee number 20 from Google, was like one of the lead engineers on, I think, like Gmail, Google Search, the things that we use a lot. And she's gone to be the CEO of Yahoo. Mm-hmm. So that's huge. So where should we start between those two?
Well, I'm just tweeting out both those links in case you were under a rock or on a beach or away from anything technical that gives you this information, or a newspaper or the TV. Let's start with Digg, because it's new. I shared a link from the Globe and Mail, one of my favorite Canadian resources. Digg's demise demonstrates the dangers of complacency, is the title of that article. So being complacent makes you obsolete. Mm.
They did a big redesign 2 years ago, and they called it Digg 4. And if you're not familiar with Digg was the first one to have that little kind of social icon underneath a news story. And it even started without the social icon, and it became probably what Reddit is now. There's a huge community. You can be crazy popular if you made it to the front page of Digg. People always try to game the system to be on the front page of Digg. It was the people's news, right? So if there was something you liked, you would put it on Digg. Other people liked it. It would make its way to the top. Mm-hmm. And that's how the news stories work there. They had multiple redesign. Kevin Rose was a CEO for a while. Jay Adelson was a CEO for a while. Kevin Rose started it. Jay Adelson was the CEO. Jay left. Kevin was the CEO through the redesign process. And then about a year ago, probably Kevin left, which was huge news and kind of should have marked its own demise. And then Digg made this redesign. The users weren't happy. It slowly went away. And it sold from far less than the money they collected through venture capital.
Well, and you're going to see the influx of collecting of resources, curating content, news, bookmarks, links. There's a few others in the game out there, and I know that Delicious is one that's continuing to change and evolve. Someone bought them. They were going to die. It's going to change again and remove Stacks. I think you gave me a compliment, or maybe Eric was, when you gave me a compliment about my Stacks, I said, well, that's going to change. A lot of these social and web applications change, or they have to change, or they have to evolve, or they have to partner, and that's becoming a bigger piece of the puzzle. And in reflecting on some of Dig's complacency, something like that's going to have to shift in higher ed. So.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and we need to have a whole another conversation about like open education resources with that. Where that's going to go as far as education, professional development, those kinds of things. But
absolutely.
And I'll say this: I've started the past 5 or 6 months of going back and cleaning up my social media accounts. And if I have an account on a website which I don't use and never intend to use, I'm deleting it. Right. So the old MySpaces and those kinds of things.
You still have a MySpace?
I had an account once. I never had a page, but I had an account because I needed to email someone or something, and I forgot about it. And I went back and looked, and I did. So I deleted that. I deleted LinkedIn because I don't use LinkedIn. I don't monitor LinkedIn. And as I said 2 shows ago, my profile got hacked and kind of pissed me off. So, and I deleted Dig. But to delete Dig, you had to email them and say, please delete my accounts, and they did so pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't know what's going to happen. There's all these accounts that have been purchased by a company, and I don't know what the company does. So I don't know what's going to happen with all of those accounts on there. So I'm kind of glad I'm doing that. One, because I don't want to leave myself open to too many sites to be hacked, and then 2, you don't know what's going to happen to those companies.
I'm actually making a list and checking it twice for future tech topics. I have, this is for this year's show programming. This is kind of our show as well today. Complacency and SA higher ed needing to evolve, like the tech industry. Tech cleanup and hacking your online profile. OER and student affairs higher ed. We had a first one. I can't remember. So, what was the?
Future show. I don't remember.
It'll come back to us, or. If you know what it is, tweet at us. If you have a question, you can actually tweet using the hashtag, if anyone is catching us live, CTCX. We are now doing video podcasts. As you can see, Jeff's a fan of the Google Plus on-air Hangouts. We're probably going to keep doing them this way because it's good. We get to see each other, and you get to see when we're searching and not paying attention like Jeff is right now.
I'm looking at a Twitter feed.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Because they have a lot of columns. I have to find the right one. Yeah.
Are you using, what do you look at for your Twitter feed? Do you use like a dashboard?
No, I use TweetDeck, their Chrome application. It just takes up less memory. I don't use the actual downloaded applications anymore. I just use the web applications.
That's good. I used to use that, and then I didn't like the download, so I might go back to that. I'm using my good old Canadian Pride Hootsuite. I got to give props to the Vancouver group.
I didn't realize they're Canadian. I used to use Hootsuite a lot until they started putting their, they started allowing the promoted tweets to go through there, and you had to pay to get them out of there. And I just think TweetDeck runs pretty fast for this web application. It updates pretty quickly, and the biggest thing about this is it has filters.
Do you use for multiple accounts?
Yeah, I have my account and BraveDrink account on there.
Okay.
But the filters, I can filter out hashtags such as The Bachelor or Bachelorette or Glee or any award show hashtags. I can take out anything that says Foursquare or Check-In or Nike Run, so all those things that like annoyed me about, or Get Glue. All those things that annoyed me about Twitter because all these other things started taking over, like Twitter feeds that weren't even native to Twitter. You can have those things filtered out, and honestly, it makes my experience looking at Twitter so much better. They're not filtered out on my phone, they're not filtered out on other things, so using this makes it so much better. So that's really the filters is why I use this.
And there's more clients that actually are getting smarter that way. Like it's funny to see how much third-party clients for Twitter are getting really savvy to what their needs of their customers are and the feedback they've given. So, example, TweetDeck, always had to download before. It's now a web client because that's what people want. And there's other ones out there that we like, and I'm not sure if people use Seismic or people are using the web now, that even though their old websites changed a bit on Twitter.
There was a time I used Seismic a lot, and I started using this one, and I haven't kept up with the other ones that much. And
do you use that? Speaking of your phone, I was just going to ask if you use that on your phone.
I used to use Seismic on my phone until last week, and I changed to. Let me see what I changed to.
I use Seismic on my phone. What do you?
Plume. I started using Plume.
Plume. Okay, good.
It's a free client and is actually quite good. So I started
and that's
using
just Plume.com, or what is it?
Plume on the App Store. Plume.
On the App Store for Android.
Yeah. Android Play, whatever that's called.
Cool. That's talking our gadgets for a little bit. The other second piece of news, it's kind of old news now. It's 2 weeks in. Is Marissa Mayer's she's in the office for 2 weeks at Yahoo. She's bringing food to the office. You know, CNN has so much to report that she's bringing food to work. So that's
someone I would love to have Keegan and Christina Bells and the other women who are in this SA Tech group. And sorry, I'm forgetting some of your names right now. Their thoughts on this, because
Jess Falk, Brenda Bethman, all the good people over there at SA Women Talk Tech.
Yes. Because she is one of the highest. I mean, she's a great engineer. Not for a woman engineer. She's just pure hands down a great engineer. And she gets this job, and she's always been held as one of the highest women in tech. Probably her and Sheryl Sandberg, who's not Facebook, but Sheryl Sandberg wasn't actually a tech person. She just worked at a tech company. So someone does this article on like the 6 things you should know about Marissa Mayer, or Meyer. I forget which one.
Mayer.
Not related to John, I don't think. Okay. And it was something like, her cupcake recipe is better than yours. She's 6 months pregnant. She has a great eye for design. Nothing about her actual ability to be an engineer. It was all about the fact that she's like pigeonholed into these womanly gender roles. So, and they probably are. I'm sure her cupcake recipe is better, but who cares? I want to know about how she's going to change Yahoo. I don't really care how good cupcakes she makes.
To contrast that, I don't know where yours is. I will say that there was an interesting facts about her, and it was opposite of anything of that. So it talks about she's responsible for the clean look. She specializes in artificial intelligence. She's on the board at Walmart. She lives in a penthouse. So it depends on, you tweet out your interesting facts, and I'll share mine. So it's the opposite end of that, because you ask a good question. When they go right to, where was your news source from, like Mashable or something like that?
It was probably not Mashable, because I think that's a horrible website I don't ever read anymore. But
I think it is from Mashable.
It may have been. I think it was actually on like the Times. I heard someone talking about it. I think it was like on the Times or Fast Company. I don't know where it was.
Okay.
I'd say both of these news stories kind of happened when I was in my class period, and I kind of know of them more than I actually know what's actually happening. Like, I don't know if anything's actually happening at Yahoo right now.
It's early. She's only 2 weeks. Give her a break.
Yeah. And, I mean, all signs point to that company's a mess, and it's going to take a while to and I think the biggest thing with Yahoo, you got to figure out what is Yahoo? Right. So we knew that Apple at one point was they're a hardware software company, and they do some other stuff also. They have iTunes and stuff, but primarily a hardware software company. Google was primarily a search company. And I don't know what you say they are now. Search, advertising. There are a lot. Robot driving cars. Microsoft, they licensed software. Was their software company? Was their big thing?
Well, it's a big loss for them to lose Marissa, I think.
Yeah, I think it is too. And so Yahoo kind of changed to a content company. They gave up search. Search now goes through Bing on their website. So Yahoo, has to figure out, are we still going to be a content company? If so, what does that mean? How do we... There's a lot of questions there, and I think she's going to be great. I think a lot of people have to be fired and rehired at Yahoo just because that place has been such a disarray mess for a long time. So
I'm looking forward to her involvement because my favorite, and I might be partial to Flickr, is in the Yahoo group. I'd like to see, they work content-based, so I'd like to see them going back in that direction. I don't know if they'll compete as a search engine for with Google, but I won't disregard that with Marissa on board.
You know, Yahoo Finance, I hear, is great as far as financial news. Like, they have better financial news than like real-time financial news coverage than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Their sports, Yahoo Sports is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever runs those areas have actually been doing a really good job. Flickr is really good and kind of has been forgotten about recently, but I think online photographers or photographers who want to share photos tend to love Flickr. It's always been better designed than Picasa or other, which is Google's version of Flickr and other things, but it is a little confusing on Flickr at times. So if they could clean that up, I mean, there's some starting points there. Mm-hmm. It just depends on which way they want to go, because they've tried to go everywhere.
Well, and then, so can we move on to another piece of news that's out today? So I will talk a little bit about the war that's coming to the U.S. that hasn't been here, is the Samsung versus Apple, the patent war. So there's a good piece that was shared just on NPR this morning, just about it coming to head in the courts and what it means. So essentially, some of you may know the battle between the two biggest smartphone companies are coming to court in the federal court, where they're going to talk about who had the first design, whether it's a slide screen open to how you move apps around. And there's always been developments in the tech world of the touch phone, and because you can patent almost everything, like the little hands or the little arrow over your cursor has a patent, right? So all these little intricacies are coming to court, and it's pretty interesting if you want to listen to the story. If you've not heard about it, it was on the morning edition. It'll be interesting to see what plays out, and this is just new and more breaking because it's just starting, so we don't know what will come between the two groups.
I would say The Verge, who has some people who attended law school on their staff, has always had pretty good coverage of these types of stories. Anything in the legal realm, they tend to follow it pretty well. I gotta say, it's they have an Apple. I see now Apple versus Samsung: The Complete Guide to a $1 Billion Trial on the front of their site right now.
I'll share that.
This stuff is interesting, but this is bad. Like, if someone wins here, it could be bad. And I hope the judge just says you're both being stupid. Go home and build what you're going to build, because there's no original piece of technology anymore. Right? Someone does something good, right? But you can't say this entire thing here was not just made out of the blue from Google. They did some things better, and the things they did better is now on iPhones, and vice versa. It's just, they steal and take from each other all the time, and they're just getting really petty in this. And I think Samsung probably did try to rip off the iPhone, but I don't care. Let's just move on. But they care. They care. So this is like the legacy of Steve Jobs. This is going to go to trial for a long, long time. And if someone wins, it's going to be bad.
This is just, why can't we all just get along, tech friends?
Exactly.
Plea out there. It is a $1 billion trial, so I shared the Verge breakdown of what it's going to look like as well. So stay tuned. That may be an update we have in August, and we haven't had a solid schedule this summer because of school and work and life, and we deserve a break too. But we hope to probably give you some recaps of what happens, and nothing will come soon, but there's a lot of money to be had in court fees and lawyers. So should you be looking for a prospective area to go into, would be legal, contracts, and technology. That's a good one.
Yeah, I hear the law area is not a place you want to go into right now, but if you do,
that's
this is the place to go.
Other side quirky news, there's I don't know if you saw an idea of what they're doing with payphones in New York City.
No.
So you know how we're going from technology evolution, and what do we do with a payphone? Because no one uses payphone, and some people don't even know what that looks like. Well, in New York, they actually have free Wi-Fi in payphone areas. So on the Alt-Tech Considered, they shared who want free Wi-Fi in New York, just go near a payphone. And so this is great for, I think New York's a good spot for it because if you're an out-of-towner and you're international, you aren't going to hit roaming. You're going to want to make a call or text or something. If you can access a mobile app, so I think that's pretty rad.
Did they take the fiber that was already being run and just attach a channel on it?
Yeah, so it's a pilot project. So it's called the Payphone Project. It started since 1995. So this guy, what's his name, Mark Thomas, is using the payphone, but he's using the Wi-Fi close to it. So yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to hook up. Yeah, the patch of what could be there and what's been transformed. So there's different internet touch spots, and they have Wi-Fi spots or internet touch screens around some of those. There's different things they're doing. So I'm not sure what the technical behind the hotspot. So that is out of my domain, but I thought it was a good idea of how to.
Did you hear what someone did at South by Southwest, and then people got really mad, so I think they stopped doing it?
What?
Is they hired homeless people to wear T-shirts that says "I'm a Wi-Fi hotspot," and they carried a bag, and they paid them. They carried a bag that had Wi-Fi hotspots, but they said it was exploitation of homeless people, so I think they stopped doing it. But they're trying to get more Wi-Fi areas downtown during South by Southwest, specifically during South by Southwest.
Which is needed, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a bajillion people with like 15 different devices, all needing Wi-Fi or 3G, and it just clogs up the system. So they're trying to get all these different things, and so yeah, I think the payphone idea is probably more creative.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where people take some of the tech that they don't use now and what do they use them for. So.
Yeah. I was just at the state capitol in Austin recently, and there's a newer part to the capitol, which is this underground annex office area, and it's really pretty, newer, probably built 15 years ago or so. But because it was underground, they knew that no one would ever be able to get any access or signals at the time. I think you can now, but at the time you couldn't. So they had these big phone banks for press or who needed to use them. And now it's these nice granite countertops, just these empty little cubby holes with no phone, and they've taken all the phones out. But it wasn't that long ago when they built this, and they were trying to be accommodating to have all these phone lines put in. And now it doesn't serve a point. It would have been nice if they had a Wi-Fi area with the countertops and bar stools there, though. That would have been a nice thing to do there.
It'd be cool if they even had like devices that could be charged on, like if you converted an old countertop where you had computers, but you now made it a plug-in, but also had a charge. Like you could actually activate the table to be a charge zone. You know, where you just drop devices as well. And
hey, does your library have something like that, like where they can go and put their computer in a locker and charge it and then lock it up?
They have a few renos coming on campus, and our union's going to have spots like that. And we actually have a smart, and this might be, I'll write this down for a future topic, like smart spaces where things are really cool, like sandbox areas for group projects, team development, group study sessions. So we have a couple spaces in our building that are getting renovated that have movable whiteboards. They've got a table with an LCD screen that you could plug in a laptop or smartphone and do like a demo with a group project. Electronic and different whiteboards with projectors. So that's happening in my building. Our library is doing a reno, so I think they're on the slate for doing some of the sandboxing ideas. But I think, did I share with you the sandbox experience I had at, it was in Montana, for Moodle Moots. They just had a test box in their library, and it was really neat. I think I have a couple pictures I can find here on my Flickr, but it was really neat because they had dry erase walls. They were also magnetic, and you could project right on them because they had front projectors that flipped this way.
Yeah.
So you could walk in front of it, draw on it without walking it through the projector.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so maybe we should have an AV show sometime. And
so I just bought this new whiteboard recently. Let me move my camera.
Don't get dizzy, folks.
So I have a year
in review.
Yes. We have an entire year mapped out over there. But I thought about buying the whiteboard paint, because you can buy the paint now, and putting that down behind it, so everything around it would be whiteboard also. Or just change this back here to be, because I have 2 other mini whiteboards on the floor over there that are more mobile for stuff.
I'll tweet out the link. This is the Sandbox, and this is Dan, who is showcasing the fine work they have at their university. So, and that, it's at Carroll College in Helena, Montana, where I was, and they've got some cool, neat spaces, like even where they store, like if it's a teaching classroom, they have a couple LCDs with Apple TV. So that way you could throw videos, throw images, pictures. And he actually created a room for, I think it was $15,000, which sounds like a lot, but the typical classroom space, or if you're planning one of these spaces for even a work group or your student affairs group, would be about $80,000.
Wow.
With old tech. So if you come up with some different new tech and just a couple different modifications, you can do it tech on the cheap, which isn't too bad for a university college budget.
Oh, you missed anything? I mean, I've been out for a couple weeks. I was off the Twitter sphere whenever I was in school, and I have not been able to really get back into it.
Can I ask if you're doing like formal school in the fall?
Yes, I'll be taking. I start my first. So it's a distance program. It's about 2 hours from here, and I go 2 weeks in the summer, 1 weekend a month. My first weekend I'm there is September 14th.
Okay.
I'll probably get my syllabuses in a couple of weeks, and we'll probably start having to do work ahead of time for that.
I asked, are you going to take any informal classes? So I jokingly sent you.
Informal.
No, both. I wanted to know both, too. So, like, we've talked about MOOCs, that you and Jeff Lale say MOOCs. And I sent you the ed tech one. Would you do any of the MOOCs?
You know, it probably completely depends on how it's formatted and when they do the video. It depends. I wanted to do one last summer, but I think it was in July is when they did it, which was the worst month for me to do it.
There's some more in the fall. I blogged about it the other day, but they have, which ironically got scooped by a lot. There's only a couple of comments. The rest are scoops. There's a couple from edX and Coursera is the other one, and Udacity. So I signed up for a couple of Coursera ones around learning networks or network analytics. I'm going to probably just follow that along because I have 3 real classes and a dissertation proposal, to crank out.
I think I want to get the content of them. I don't want to actually do the side projects.
Okay.
Because I have real actual projects.
But they're good if you're not in school and you're looking for some ways to learn, connect, and collaborate. I think that's really good. There are places like Stanford is going to offer for credit, online courses for credit and degrees came out last week on the 20th. So they're going to offer some, it's going to be a challenge, I think, water down some accreditation in some higher ed areas. So if you have your degree from Harvard and you haven't paid, or Stanford and you haven't paid, or MIT and you haven't paid, what does it look for those who attended on campus?
Yeah, so is this on your, yes, online learning more than just a MOOC. Okay.
Yeah, so and I'll share the other one's the Stanford one. that just came out. But
yeah. I would like to, because I've been really trying to think of assessment in terms of faster feedback loops, where it's actually, I don't think end of the year assessment is the appropriate time to do assessment. I think it should be ongoing and be flexible and make adjustments in real time. We've been able to do that with the orientations we're doing. We need to figure out with everything else that we're doing how we can do that. And so I've been trying to think of like models of which to do that, and then the technology. Should we use Poll Everywhere to get surveys directly from events, or how should we do that kind of thing? So that learning analytics one may be kind of interesting for that.
Are we going to? I don't know if when we haven't talked. We can talk out loud. I don't know when we're going to do a next podcast. I'm kind of busy in the next couple weeks. I'm doing a free training if anyone wants to come. It's for advising in technology, but it's open to anyone. It's the Nakata Tech Talk series, and it's happening next week every lunch hour. So I'm out next week if you're going to break drinks without me. But anyone's welcome, and I can share that link with you. We're going to have some different free speakers for an hour, and it's going to be like mini presentation and a panel Q&A, and kind of like what we do here, but in Adobe Connect.
Yeah.
First 100 in, free, join.
Yeah. And we have some other webinars and stuff coming up through Break Drink that we're working on some details and dates and stuff, but probably you may start seeing one towards the end of September, and then some maybe in October, November also. So we're working on those, which will be possibly not free, but very affordable still.
And quality, so we want to have low-cost quality.
And we'll always still do some things that are free, so we'll do some stuff also.
I think we might do our back-to-school tech tool, but I know that Audrey Waters already started a survey. So the most anticipated back-to-school tech tools. She's surveying people to see what they think. So I'll be curious to see what comes out of that survey. Did you see that?
I've not.
So that's via the Hack Education website, and I'll tweet it out to you. It'd be great to know what you think is the back-to-school tech tool, and you can fill out that survey, and I look forward to reading, as I do, her Hack Education blog that shares that.
Is that everything?
I think so. When do you think we'll connect again?
I'm fine until the end of August. I mean, Mondays I'm generally fine. The last Monday in August I have an orientation that day, but other than that,
cool.
I have Mondays free in August as of now.
So it sounds like we'll probably connect, not next week, but maybe the week after. We'll go back to every other Monday like we normally do.
And we'll chat with Bruce to make sure he knows.
We'll definitely want Bruce to join in. And it sounds like we're going to keep it at the same tech time for fall, so 12 to 1 p.m. CST. So join us on the 16th. Will be our next one. And we have a good list of topics that I've written down here and we'll put into a Google Doc later, Jeff.
Yes.
Great.
All right, everyone. Happy Monday. Oh, and remember, 2 days from now is August 1st, which is the day that everyone freaks out in student affairs. So be calm. It's going to be okay. It's always okay. So yes, the summer is over.
Higher ed and student affairs, they struggle because of August.
So there's all those things you want to get done in the summer. It's just not going to happen. It's okay. Let's just start the school year and be all right. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye, everyone.